woke up and clearly heard slow footsteps downstairs. I know what footsteps sound like
No, you
compared
don't.
to house settling
Nigga,
noise
shut the fuck up. No, you don't. Because if I rewind this video like 5 minutes,
sounds. Slow footstep, but I convinced myself it was probably the wood floors adjusting.
I'm sorry, nigga. Did I hear that correctly?
Sounded like a single slow footstep, but I convinced myself it was probably the wood floors adjusting.
This nigga's telling me that he's not thinking about the worst. He's not thinking about the worst outcome that could happen in terms of his own physical safety. He's worrying about a fucking couch. What's going on, everybody? It's Unlock5. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be reacting to another Mr. Nightmare video. And I already watched it, but I wanted to react to it because these are genuinely three of the dumbest niggas I've ever listened to in one particular Mr. Nightmare story. Usually, you know, obviously it's Mr. Nightmare. A lot of these stories are gonna come to fruition solely because the person who's telling the story made some pretty stupid fucking decisions, right? And then there's some other decisions that are like, or other stories where there are decisions being made that are like, okay, like I could kind of see how you got there. Me personally, I wouldn't do that. But you know, the point of Mr. Nightmare usually is because you want to sit and listen to stories that are relatable, that can happen to anybody. These three stories, I promise you, nigga, I would never fall victim. Like, these are three of the stupidest niggas, and what's striking is how they're all in one story, bro. Like, literally, Mr. Nightmare is like, oh, 3 true scary stories, 3 true California stories, 4 true knock at the door stories, 3 very true woods stories. This one right here can just be 3 very true dumbass stories, stories with dumbasses. But anyways, we're gonna listen to it, and yeah, man. Hopefully you guys enjoy. This bitch is. I'm gonna just let y'all
choose
listen
to be
it.
anonymous with this because it's
loud.
pretty embarrassing, and also putting my name out there tied to this is likely a horrible idea.
So the first thing, it's pretty embarrassing.
There was a Craigslist ad posted in 2017 by a guy named Jackson. He was advertising free lodging for a girl who would watch over his house and clean, basically an au pair or nanny without having to watch any kids. I'll just be honest that I kind of lost the will to do a lot when I was 21.
Let's listen to this.
I had zero relationship with my parents or sister, and I only had a handful of friends who I could trust. I dropped out of college my first year, part of the reason my parents hated me for a while, and I was working a dead-end job at a vape shop. I like to just...
Nigga, pause. The fuck? Number one, nigga, you dropped out of college to go to work at a vape shop. That makes a lot of sense, my nigga. Like, no. I can see if some shit, like, happened to you, or, like, if you had some shit going on in your life. You live with your parents, and you dropped out of college your first year. You didn't even give that bitch a try, based on the context of this story, to work at a vape shop.
Refer to this period as my attitude era. And when I saw Jackson's Craigslist ad, it really caught my attention. It had like 10 pictures of his house. It looked like a modest middle-class house. Slightly old-fashioned, honestly, but I was into that. The pictures weren't what got my attention the most, though. It was the fact that free living was offered for a nanny-type position. No background check required. I didn't even ask my family or friends their opinion on this post before I just decided to reply to it.
That's the other thing.
Like I said...
no background check required, and then you're not asking for a second opinion.
I wasn't exactly talking to my parents or sister at the time anyway.
No, you're not... Okay.
I texted the number on the ad.
You're not exactly thinking during this period of your life either.
I expressed interest in the listing and just asked some basic questions. He had an answer to everything that honestly made me feel more interested, but he asked pretty early on in the conversation what my gender was. When I said female, it almost seemed as though his responses got longer.
I wonder why.
I honestly didn't care.
It's not even because I know the outcome of this story. Sometimes you're going to be a little bit biased because it's like, oh, I'm watching a Mr. Nightmare story. So, like, obviously I wouldn't make this decision because you already know how it's going to end up, right? So it's like you have that bias. And it's like in some of these situations, no, you don't know how you would act or what decisions you would. All of these, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, they make multiple stupid-ass decisions.
Tend to prefer having a female housekeeper or nanny anyway. I was still interested. Anything that got me out of my parents' house. He said he wouldn't be home most of the time during the day, but he wanted to come home to a clean house, and that he also wouldn't mind coming home to a cooked meal from time to time after work.
It's fair.
Honestly, I was cool with that too. If it meant free housing, hell yeah, I'll cook some food. Beat standing in the wage cage at the vape shop. Plus, he also said he'd pay for the
So why
groceries.
did you
It
set
was
yourself
sounding
up for
almost
that?
too good to be true. He suggested I come by later that day to check the place out and
How
see
is
if it's a
college
fit.
worse than working
said
at a
okay.
vape shop, nigga?
A few hours later, I was on my way in my crappy little Civic to the guy's house. It was in a perfectly normal side of town. The block actually seemed pretty calm and peaceful. The neighboring houses had flowers and decorations outside.
Yeah,
suggesting
Mr.
the
Nightmare,
neighbors
I'm
were
not gonna
normal
lie
too.
to you. This house is
Didn't
not
start
what
so
you're
far.
describing.
I went to ring the bell.
She looks
When the
beat
door
the fuck
opened,
up.
I was greeted by a man larger and honestly older than I had pictured. I had pictured this regular 45-year-old dad-looking guy. Instead, it was a man maybe 60 years old,
Man,
6
shut the
feet
fuck
tall,
up.
gray beard, and a little overweight.
Okay, another thing. You don't know what the nigga looks like, bro. You've never, like...
He greeted me with a smile
Okay,
and went
bro.
in for a hug, even though we had just met. And honestly, the amount that he laughed made me feel pretty at ease. He showed me around the house. It was a 2-story house. The first floor was your basic kitchen, dining room, and living room setup. Then the upstairs was 4 bedrooms and a bathroom. He only showed me the guest room that I'd be using and the bathroom upstairs, though. The other doors stayed closed. He said if I ever needed to use the office across the hall, I was welcome to. Down the hall was his room and another room that he didn't explain. I was surprised to hear there was only 1 bathroom. Then there was the basement. He said it was unfinished and that he doesn't use it for anything other than working out and doing laundry. That was the end of the tour. He didn't show me the backyard that day. I told him I wanted the job, and he told me I was hired. 2 days later, I came back with my stuff. I told my parents I got an apartment when they asked where I was going. I didn't explain anything more.
I know you, like, hate your parents or whatever, but you're about to find out why you can't just not tell people where you're going when you're moving. Bro, I cannot.
The first night there was when I noticed the cameras.
Okay,
Nope.
so, like, you're a hoe. I mean, you're a girl living with some old ass man alone in his house, just alone, you two. Okay, you're a young 18-year-old, first year of college, and then this nigga's showing you the house. There's rooms that he's not showing you. He said that the basement, he doesn't do it. The basement basically is off limits because it's unfinished, whatever. He was alluding to it being. And then there's fucking cameras.
They weren't hidden. At least, I don't think they were supposed to be. They were just small black cameras mounted up in the corners of the living room and the kitchen. It made perfectly normal sense to me. He
There
was
we go
letting
with the
basically a stranger live in his
explaining
house.
shit
It wasn't
away.
that crazy that he'd want some security. Still, I wish he had mentioned it. That was the first time I felt even slightly weird about the situation. If you can't tell,
That goes to show you. No. If you can't tell, I can't tell that you're fucking.
I really wanted this to work out. That night, when I went to bed, I noticed how much noisier the house felt than when we toured it. I could hear the wood floors creaking every once in a while. At one point, I swear I heard what sounded like a door closing somewhere downstairs. I checked my phone, and it was around 1:30 in the morning. Again, I came up with a reason for this in my head. When you're laying in silence trying to sleep, you pick up on more sounds than you would when occupied by something during the day. Plus, every old house makes sounds like that.
See, here we go again.
Next morning, he was
Explaining
already
shit
gone,
away.
like he said he would be. He had left a note on the counter with a list of things he wanted done. It was normal stuff. He wanted me to do his laundry, vacuum the floors, wipe down the kitchen, and I tried to just focus on the fact that I wasn't standing behind a vape counter all day anymore. I did his laundry first, then I cleaned the floors and wiped everything down. After that, I went back upstairs and started
man,
setting
getting
up the
some dick
bedroom
in
more like my
college.
own space.
I don't know.
I
Life could
unpacked
have been
my
a lot
clothes,
better.
set up my laptop on a small desk, and put a few personal things around just to make it feel less temporary. I remember thinking maybe this could actually work out. I was actually being positive. After I finished everything, I just relaxed for a while and watched YouTube videos on my laptop. Not hearing my parents yelling downstairs or having one of them burst through my bedroom door barking orders at me was a breath of fresh air.
Well,
The first
couldn't you experience that in college too?
week actually went pretty normal. At night when he got home, we would talk a little, like about basic stuff. It never really got deep. He asked about where I grew up, what I wanted to do eventually, stuff like that. I cooked dinner a few nights in a row, and he seemed to appreciate it. I started thinking maybe I just overreacted about the cameras and the weird feeling, but it didn't all stay happy and peachy. One night, I made pasta with chicken and some vegetables. I tried my best, but I'm not some housewife type star chef. I was some young, angsty goth girl. When he got home, he looked tired and irritated. He took one bite and his whole face changed. He said it tasted bland. I said sorry and offered to add some seasoning or make something else, but he just kind of snapped.
Niggas being uppity.
He said something like, if I was going to be living there for free, the least I could do was learn how to cook something edible. He
If
pushed
you're
me.
gonna have somebody stay over your house for free, doing your laundry and doing house chores and shit, and is making you dinner while you come home, it is alleviating the stress of you having to make dinner for yourself. The least you could do is shut the fuck up if it doesn't taste to par.
Plate away and stood up. Then he told me to clean up the mess I made in his kitchen before he walked
Or why don't you fucking get a cookbook and tell the bitch follow that?
away toward his bedroom. It caught me completely off guard. It wasn't even just what he said. It was how fast his personality seemed to change. It had seemed so easygoing before that. I cleaned
There's some
everything up
people like that
quietly
in
and hoped
real
that
life.
he had just had a bad day and nothing more. Everyone has bad days.
Nah, bro. That's
next
called
morning,
being bipolar.
I actually apologized to him.
And you're
I
apologizing.
didn't even really think I did anything wrong, but I wanted to keep things smooth. I told him I was sorry about dinner and I'd try harder. He just laughed like it was nothing.
Wait
And
till
he
y'all
said
hear
something
this.
that made everything weird.
Listen.
He said maybe I could make it up to him by cleaning the house in my underwear that day. He said it with a smile, like it was supposed to be funny. I remember just kind of freezing for a second
What kind of nigga that gets bitches says some shit like that, bro?
because I didn't know how to respond. I told him I wasn't comfortable with that, to put it lightly. He just laughed again and said he was joking and told me to relax, and then he went to bed.
Bro, you're like 60, my nigga. Talking greasy to an 18-year-old who you're keeping in your house alone with you. Like,
I remember standing there after he left, feeling really unsettled. It was the first time I really thought maybe there was something off about him beyond just being moody. That was the first time I texted one of my close friends about what was going on. I told her about the living situation and what he said. She immediately told me I was insane for staying there. She told me to
I
leave
agree.
as soon as possible. I didn't want to, though.
this is like strike number 15. So, like, let's recap quickly. This nigga, you're alone with a grown-ass man who has bipolar mood switches, has cameras, has rooms that he's not telling you about. You did not tell your parents where you were. And now this nigga is suggesting that you clean his house in your underwear. First of all, to what benefit? Because isn't he supposed to be at work? But like the fact that a nigga even says that, and you're still, I don't want to leave though.
I still felt like I had more control over my life there than I did living with my parents. Going back there felt like failing again. The next Monday, I was leaving the house to go buy groceries.
This
with
nigga's
some
gonna
money at
ask you to
home.
pop your pussy.
As I
And
was
then what?
driving, a car behind me started laying on the horn. I thought I did something wrong driving,
No, you
but
did.
he kept following me.
You
I pulled
absolutely
over
did.
because I started getting scared that something was really wrong.
Something is
The car
really
pulled
wrong
up behind me, and a girl got out.
with your
She looked
brain.
around my age. She walked up to my window and asked if I was living at that house. When I said yes, she immediately told me I needed to stay away from that man. Apparently, Jackson wasn't even his real name. She said she was the girl who had the same arrangement before me. She told me she eventually realized he had cameras watching her
How do y'all
constantly.
hoes fall for this?
She said
bro?
she started noticing he knew things he shouldn't know. She said when she tried to leave, he made it very difficult and kept asking questions about where she was going and when she was coming back. Then she told me one night she woke up and saw him leaving her bedroom. That part made me physically sick. Then she told me the worst part. She said he didn't even have a job. She said he lied about going to work every day. And she eventually realized he was still somewhere inside the
Nigga,
house.
she had it
most
worse than
days.
you, bro. Why isn't she telling the story?
I just sat there trying to process it. Every little weird thing suddenly started making sense. I asked her how I could leave without causing problems. She told me to act completely normal, to start slowly taking important things out so he wouldn't notice. She said when I leave, I should make it look like I was just running errands. And she told me not to confront him and not to let him know I knew anything. After she left, I just sat in my car for a few minutes trying to calm down before going back. When I walked back into the house, it felt completely different. I felt like I was being watched even more than before. That night, I checked the room carefully like she suggested. She was right. After a few minutes of looking around, I noticed something small on the top shelf of the closet. It was pushed away into the corner. When I moved a box, I saw a tiny black lens pointing outward through a small drilled hole. I just slowly put the box back like I didn't see it.
You might want to check them bathrooms
Needless
too.
to say,
That one bathroom
I
in
didn't
the
sleep
house.
at all that night. I looked at the darkness of the room, wondering what I'd gotten myself into. And honestly, I'm glad I didn't fall asleep.
Yeah, I was wondering
night,
that way
because
before
at
we
some
got to
random
this point.
crazy hour in the night, I heard my door creak open, and I flipped to my side and looked at the door. It was Jackson. He noticed me look at him, and he apologized for waking me and closed the door. What the actual was that weirdo planning on doing? I needed to get out of there. The next morning, I
Why are
started
you
my
asking
plan.
me like you're not the one
Every
that?
day, I would bring one small bag
telling
of
the
stuff to
story.
my car. Just normal things and nothing obvious. 3 days later, I left while he was at work, and I never came back. Though, if what that girl told me were true, who knows where he actually was? Maybe in the house somewhere. He texted me later.
I gotta see
asking
what
where I
like this
was.
bitch looks like, bro. Like how are you this stupid?
I told him I decided to move back home and thanked him for the opportunity. He kept texting, asking why, and saying I should at least come talk to him in person. I never responded again. About a week later, I noticed something that still bothers me. I got an email notification saying someone had tried to log into one of my old accounts. The login attempt was from the same town his house was in. I changed everything after that.
That's what still bothers
I don't know
you?
what his real intentions were, and honestly, I don't want to know. Nothing technically happened to me, but I really believe if I stayed longer, something eventually would have.
What do you mean nothing?
You ever see
Nothing technically happened to you, nigga. What are we talking about? So many things happened to you. The main thing is the expression of your stupidity.
deals like that, offering free housing from strangers online? Just remember, nothing like that is ever really free.
Including education. Which I'm sorry to tell you clearly needed.
I hired her sometime around the
This nigga's stupid as fuck too.
beginning of last fall. I work long hours and live alone in a 2-floor house I bought a couple years ago. It's pretty small, and yet still
Man,
more
Mr. Nightmare, stop playing this nigga Nick, bro. He just, I doubt this nigga Nick lives like this.
space than I really need. And I started realizing I was falling behind on keeping it clean. Maybe I needed a girlfriend to keep the place clean at the time.
What nigga that fucks bitches says something like that? I need a girlfriend to keep the place clean. Nigga, clean this shit up yourself. Fuck wrong with you?
No matter how much I told
Y'all some nasty niggas, bro. Like a lot of dudes, bro.
myself I'd get to cleaning the house.
That's why them hoes love me. I'm a clean nigga, bro. Like I'm not, bro. A lot of people just, I don't know. It's not even only dudes, but like people are nasty. But like having the mindset of, oh, I need a girlfriend to keep the house clean, man, stop.
Never seemed to be able to. One night after work, I was just scrolling Craigslist and other similar sites and saw a listing for house cleaning. It was just a simple post saying independent cleaner, cash only, flexible schedule. I figured why not? Maybe this was what I needed. I emailed and she responded the next morning. She said she usually did apartments, but was fine doing houses too.
Yeah, she usually does apartments. We're gonna see what that shit means in a second.
We agreed on a day she could come by while
I usually do apartments, but you know, I do houses too.
was at work.
Just you wait.
She asked a few normal questions, like how big the house was and if there were pets.
Yep, she's
I
asking
told her
them
no
questions
pets,
for a reason.
relatively small house, and that I lived alone. Looking back, I wish I hadn't mentioned that last part so casually. She came the following Thursday. I met her quickly before leaving for work, and yes, before you ask, I hid anything of value in my lockable closet before
Man, stop like telling me bits and pieces of the story that make you seem more intelligent because you're about to sound really dumb as fuck.
leaving. She looked to be maybe 38. She seemed very quiet. She didn't really make eye contact much, but I just figured she was shy. I showed her around quickly, all the rooms I wanted her to clean upstairs and downstairs. I told her she didn't need to worry about my office room. She asked where I usually keep the cleaning supplies,
Mr.
and I showed
Nightmare's
her the laundry
playing this
room.
nigga, bro.
She asked if she could come regularly every couple weeks. I said maybe. I wanted to see how this first time went. Before I left, she asked what time I usually got home from work. I told her around 6 or sometimes closer to 7, depending on traffic. At the time,
Why do you need to know when I'm coming home from work? That's not info that you need to know as a cleaning lady.
that didn't seem weird, since she probably just didn't want to still be there.
Nah, bro.
When I
You
got
can
home
still
that
be
night,
there and
the
clean the
place
house.
honestly
Nigga,
looked
it doesn't
great.
matter.
The floors and counters were shiny,
You can clean the house while I'm in the house. Like, it can't.
and everything smelled like cleaning products. I paid her what we agreed, and she left. Nothing seemed wrong. For about a week, everything was good. Then it started. Maybe 6 nights later, I woke up around 2 or 3 in the morning. I'm not a great sleeper, so this wasn't unusual. What was unusual was I thought I heard a soft thump from downstairs. It sounded like maybe something settling or one of those random house noises you hear at night.
Okay.
Put
Okay.
simply, I ignored it, as
Okay.
most people do when they hear these sounds.
That's fine.
A couple nights later, I woke up again, and this time, I heard what sounded like a cabinet door closing.
Yeah, no.
Again, I just assumed I was half asleep and
Nah,
imagining
nigga.
things. I didn't go check. I definitely wasn't
You
going
know what? Okay. Okay. That's fine.
to
That's
go
fair.
walk around a dark house at 3 in the morning over something that was probably nothing.
Yeah, you're right. You're
I
right.
wish I did. Over the next week, I started noticing small things that felt slightly off, but not enough to really alarm me.
No. Here's
One
where.
morning, a kitchen cabinet was open a few inches. I figured maybe I left it that way. Another time, a chair at my
If you're noticing shit, you probably didn't leave it like that.
dining room table
Because you would have noticed it however many fucking months or years you would have lived in your life in your house for.
seemed pulled out slightly. Again, I assumed I must have done it without thinking.
Bro, you did not do that
On
without
Saturday
thinking.
morning, I noticed the downstairs bathroom hand towel felt damp. Stuff like that kept happening.
Bro.
Small things that you could always explain away.
Okay, but like how many? No, my nigga. But how many times? How many small things before it becomes big?
If you want to. Then the nighttime sounds kept happening, always soft enough to explain away. Once it sounded like a single slow footstep, but I convinced myself it was probably the wood floors adjusting.
Bro, come on now, nigga. You heard what you were thinking is a footstep, right? On top of having all this shit, and you don't think anything's going on yet, and it didn't happen until you gave your bitch the key to your house, the house cleaning lady, whatever the fuck. Come on, bro.
I started sleeping with my bedroom door shut instead of cracked open like I usually did. I didn't really want to admit I was getting uneasy, but I was. One night I woke up and was almost sure I heard movement right outside my bedroom, like pressure being shifted in the floor. I still didn't get up. I just stared at my door, waiting to see if the handle would move. Yes, I was starting to get that paranoid, but nothing happened, and eventually I fell back asleep. The next morning, I felt stupid for even being scared. I checked the house, and everything looked normal. Around this
Could it not occur?
time, I texted the cleaner again about coming back, since overall she did a good job, and I figured maybe I was just stressed from work. She came again another weekday while I was at work. It was the same routine. I left the back door unlocked for her. When I got home, everything looked clean again. She asked if I wanted to schedule something regular. I told her maybe once a month. Anything more than that seemed like a waste of money to me. About a week after that second cleaning, I started noticing food seemed to be disappearing slightly faster than it should.
Are you suspicious yet? What is happening?
Like, I lost my mind one night, swearing to myself that there was at least one more yogurt cup in the fridge the previous night, and now it was gone. Bread slices seemed lower than I remembered too.
Bro, you're pissing me the fuck off, bro. Again, like I said, how many little things have to happen before you get suspicious in your mind, before it gets through to you that there might be somebody in your crib? You're hearing pressure outside your fucking bedroom door at night? You heard a footstep? You're missing food? You're seeing cabinets being left open? The towel is damp in your bathroom? What are we doing right now, bro?
I still was
What are
trying
we
to
even
explain these
talking
things
about?
away though. But one morning, I found a glass in the sink that I was almost positive I hadn't used.
Are you gonna explain that away too?
I lived alone and was single at the time, so there really wasn't anyone else it could have been.
Oh, so you do have a girlfriend now, so you don't have to worry about any of this shit.
At one point, I wondered if maybe I was doing these things half asleep and not
That's a
remembering.
dirty ass
I
cup,
even
by the way.
Googled
You see all this white shit? That's bacteria. That's disgusting. That's not part of the cup's design. That's dirty as fuck.
stuff about sleepwalking. Things really changed.
My nigga, you? Okay. This everybody, excuse me. I'm snacking right now. This is the kind of nigga that, bro, if you want to lick, if you want to hit a stain, this nigga Nick is available, bro. He will convince himself that he is sleepwalking before there's somebody walking around in his house at night taking shit. He in his brain, the logic that he resorts to is, "Oh, I'm sleepwalking," before he suspects anything else.
Changed one night when I woke up and clearly heard slow footsteps downstairs. I know what footsteps sound like.
No, you
compared
don't.
To house settling
Nigga,
noise.
shut the fuck up. No, you don't. Because if I rewind this video like 5 minutes, you literally were like, "Oh, it sounded like a footstep," but I thought it was nigga. Didn't you literally conflate that with like house settling?
Then the nighttime sounds. Slow footstep, but I convinced myself it was probably the wood floors adjusting.
I'm sorry, nigga. Did I hear that correctly?
Sounded like a single slow footstep, but I convinced myself it was probably the wood floors adjusting. Sounded like a single slow footstep, but I convinced myself it was probably the wood floors adjusting. Sounded like a single slow footstep, but I convinced myself it was probably the wood floors adjusting. It sounded like a single slow footstep,
But I convinced myself it sounded
probably
like the
wood floors
fucking wood
adjusting.
floor adjusting. Okay, what did you say over here?
I know what footsteps sound like compared to house settling noises.
Clearly you don't, nigga. You're lying. You're literally contradicting yourself.
These were steps. I grabbed my
Don't
phone.
don't sit there and tell these were steps like you fucking understand the
Stop to
difference.
listen for a sec.
Like you're telling
After
me.
maybe 10 seconds, I heard what sounded like something lightly bump into a wall. I didn't go downstairs. I know some people might think that sounds stupid, but fear really does make you freeze sometimes instead of act.
It does.
Or maybe I was picking
Maybe
flight
you're
over
just a
fight
pussy.
before even confronting the situation.
Mr. Oh, I'm sleepwalking instead of somebody's walking around in my house. I'm just sleepwalking.
Stayed in bed, sitting up for half an hour, not hearing anything again, and finally convincing myself it was nothing. And looking back, I look at myself as a coward for that. Morning came, and that day I checked all the doors and windows. Everything was locked. I even checked my basement, even though I never heard anything
Yep.
from there.
Explain it away.
Clear.
Explain away.
A few days later, I noticed something that really bothered me. In my kitchen junk drawer, where I keep random things like batteries and takeout menus.
Just get to the
I also
point, my
kept
nigga.
2 spare house keys on a small ring. One of them was gone. I got goosebumps when I considered the obvious possibility, but I kept telling myself, no, it's not possible.
The obvious possibility. The obvious. Listen to the qualifier. The obvious possibility. This is the out of all the possibilities, this is the one that's obviously happening. And then this nigga tells himself, no, it's not possible.
It's a possibility. But I kept telling myself, no, it's not possible.
Shut your stupid fucking ass up.
I searched the whole house, but I couldn't find it. The cleaner had been alone in the house twice for several hours each time. I
And
started
clearly
locking
she
my
took one of
bedroom
your
door at night after that.
keys. Oh my god.
About 4 nights later, I decided to test something. I left for work like normal, but after driving a few blocks, I circled back and parked on the next street over. I walked back quietly and went in through my back door. I stayed upstairs and just waited. Around 11 in the morning, I heard something. The sound of my front door unlocking.
Are you surprised, or are you gonna
Very
explain away
soft
that too?
Footsteps come inside. I moved to where I could see part of the downstairs through the stair railing. It looked like her, the cleaner. She just walked in like she lived here.
Maybe just explain away that shit.
She didn't even have cleaning supplies. She went into my kitchen, opened the fridge, took out a drink, and sat at my table. She sat there quietly for a few minutes. Then she walked slowly around my living room looking at things. She picked up a framed photo of me and my brother and just stared at it. Then she walked toward the stairs. I backed up as quietly as I could into my bedroom
Jump
and shut
scare
the door
coming.
without making any noise.
Jump scare
I
coming.
honestly didn't know what to do. I didn't want her to know I was home yet. After maybe a minute, I heard her walk halfway up the stairs and then stop. I could see her shadow under my door. She just stood there not moving, as if she knew I was at the door. It felt like at least a full minute. With my mind racing, I decided it was now or never to confront her. I flung the door open, and I was not expecting her to actually already be standing
Look at
years
this
feet away
AI,
from the door.
bro. Look at the staircase and shit. That's why when I did like my Mr. Nightmare parody video, I made sure it was like the most obvious AI pictures.
Already looking at it, and now looking at me. But I quickly realized, now that I had a closer look, it wasn't the same lady. It was another Hispanic lady, yes, but her build, hair, and face were all
Her build was different. She got that ass on her.
different. There was something so bone-chilling about her face. She had this blank, nearly angry, hateful look on her face.
It's just like she's just crazy. That's all it is. Like sometimes you look at somebody and there's nothing there.
I didn't say anything, and neither did she. We just stood there for a few seconds.
This is the
before
type
she
of bitch
slowly
that's like make pretend living her life in your house. Like, are we really surprised?
turned and walked back down the stairs like nothing happened. I heard my front door open
And you
and
didn't do
close a
anything.
few
You didn't
seconds
do
later.
anything. You did nothing.
My heart was pounding and I was shaking. I think I was genuinely too nervous and shook to move or say a word.
You opened the door and did
I waited
nothing.
maybe 5 minutes before even moving. Dialing 911 was almost
Bro, what the
difficult
fuck?
with
Who
how
the fuck are
shaky
you?
my fingers were.
Fuck is you doing in my house?
Police came and I explained.
What if it was a
everything.
grown ass? Oh wait, no. You already figured out that it was a woman.
I explained.
What
there
if she
were
had
two
like a
different
weapon
wit-
on her? You're just gonna sit there and do nothing?
I gave them the phone number and email of the cleaning lady and any other info I could provide.
It's not her real info.
The original cleaning lady stopped responding completely after that day. I replaced every lock in the house that same day. Like, literally, right after the cops left, I went straight to Ace Hardware. What still bothers me is the officer asking me if I had given anyone else a key, to which I told him no. He just said sometimes people like that don't work alone. I never hired another cleaner again.
It's like the nigga needed that to be explained to him. Sometimes people like that don't work alone because he's too stupid to understand that the cleaning lady and that woman were working together.
It's crazy to think that 2008 was almost 20 years ago, but here we are. For anybody who's too young to
I
remember,
mean, it's kind of like not that crazy. It feels like, well, to me at least, because I was really young in '08, but it feels just about 18 years ago.
early 2000s were sort of like the Wild West for the internet in many ways. Back in 2008, I was in my early 20s, and honestly, I was a bit reckless. I was way too trusting, and I was the king of saying things like, that could never happen to me.
Okay, and I'm gonna be the king of making that shit. I'm gonna make you relive those words.
I just never really had that sense of urgency or anxiety that others had.
And I bet
That
that
is,
changed after
until one
this.
spring evening, when I experienced for myself firsthand that downright evil individuals really exist in the world. Facebook had just started to blow up, but most people I knew were still rocking MySpace. Social media was a thing, but
The
not like
fuck is
today.
this? This mass on the right side of the
We
screen.
had all heard horror stories about the internet, but nobody I knew actually cared, or more accurately, we were all just incredibly ignorant. I bring all this up because perhaps the most insane thing about the internet at the time was a little website called Craigslist. Now, I know Craigslist is still around, but it's nothing compared to what it was back in the early 2000s. We didn't have websites like Marketplace, so if you wanted something, you went to Craigslist. We could find and purchase anything from small trinkets to vehicles and everything in between. You could even find work or odd jobs for some extra cash. I had heard from friends who used Craigslist all the time that it was the greatest website ever. They swore by it. I never had any interest in visiting the website until my life started to unravel a bit in the spring of 2008. I was living with my girlfriend, and with almost no notice, she dumped me and threw me out of the house.
Did you ever think that's something that could happen to you?
Thankfully, I wasn't living on the street or anything like that because I had friends who would let me crash at their place.
Some people are so fucking inconsiderate, bro. Like, yeah, we're living together and I'm gonna just dump you.
I spent the immediate days after the breakup trying to find my own apartment, but it was proving harder than I thought on my $7 an hour salary. One of my friends, whom I had previously mentioned, who swore by Craigslist, told me to check it out for
This
possible
nigga doesn't
houses
fold his
or even
clothes
rooms
at
for
all.
rent.
He just
I may have been reckless and ignorant, but surprisingly, that was a hard pass for me. I don't know why, I just didn't love the idea for some reason. However, I did start looking for furniture and items to eventually fill my place whenever I had a place to fill, since she kept everything after the breakup.
okay.
At first, it was like a treasure chest of goods. I could finally see why people loved Craigslist. I literally could find anything I needed. I was finding deals left and right. My buddy had a massive garage that he allowed me to store my recently purchased furniture in until I found my own place.
I was gonna say, bro, because what's not making sense is how you're like buying shit when you don't even have a fucking house, my nigga. Like, come on now, what are we doing? And this nigga is letting you hoard shit in his garage, my nigga, and you're buying furniture and shit. How do you know, like, this isn't even a dumb nigga thing, but like, if you don't have a place picked out, you don't know what's gonna come with the place already. You don't know how much furniture is already there, what the aesthetic of the house is. You know what I mean? Like, granted, you could change all that, but wouldn't you want to get furniture and extra shit in like when you already have an idea of what the house looks like, or am I just tripping? Because I could be wrong.
One afternoon, I was looking for a love seat or a small couch to store in the garage. I found a post from a guy named Keith who was selling a whole sectional for $45. He had a picture with the posting, and it was a smaller sectional sofa that could fit in most living rooms. Not to mention, it looks like it was in great shape. The price seemed too good to be true, but as I said,
Because
I
it
was
was
ignorant,
good,
and I just
too
saw a
good to
cool
be true.
couch and a low price tag. I messaged Keith, and to my surprise, he messaged me back almost right away and told me the couch was still available.
What, did you think that that was something that would never happen to you?
He seemed
Why are you
friendly and
surprised?
trustworthy. Well, as trustworthy as anyone can be over messaging on the internet. He told me that he had gotten a new job in another state and he was just trying to sell, hence the low price. The reason seemed good enough to me, so we exchanged numbers and set up a time to meet that evening. A meetup that would go on to traumatize me for years.
Oh
and
yeah,
open my
yeah.
eyes
This
to
nigga TT, whoever the fuck submitted this story, almost got their booty hole played with, bro. Like, I'm so serious.
horror that exists even in
Like,
our
nothing really happened to the first two, bro. This nigga almost got it done to him.
own backyards. I pulled up to the house around 9 p.m. that night. Probably a red flag for most. But
Yeah,
not
yeah. I was about to say. I was literally just about to say. Because, you know, you're only saying that because hindsight is 2020. But, you know, shit'll never happen to you. Shit could never happen to you. So, what the fuck is meeting up on Craigslist to somebody else's house, not a mutual fucking location, but to somebody else's crib at 9 p.m.? The fuck?
for me at the time. He told me he had some other work arrangement, so
What's-
he couldn't meet until that time.
What's that?
It didn't seem weird to me.
It didn't seem weird to me. Fuck ass nigga. Pissing
The
me
house
off.
was dark. And not just because it was dark.
This nigga's talking about, oh, I had a work arrangement, so I can't meet until 10? Come on, bro.
Outside.
Why don't you just reschedule it for the next morning? But no, didn't seem too weird to me.
Everything looked desolate.
Donald Trump sounding
It
ass
was a
nigga.
very rundown street that time. It didn't seem weird to me.
It didn't seem weird to
The house
me.
was dark. And not just because it was dark outside. Everything looked desolate.
And you know the outcome of what happened to you. So why are you saying like, oh, it didn't seem weird to me? Like, you know what ended up happening to you. So you're just sounding dumb as shit.
It was a very rundown street with almost no street lamps. There were several houses on the block, and they were all just as dark and decrepit as Keith's house.
Mm-hmm.
I
The
tried
nigga's name
calling
is Keith, bro. That's a crazy ass fake name.
Keith several times with the number
Keith.
he gave me, but I just kept getting one of those automated responses that the number is no longer in
The
service.
number's no longer in service. You're meeting this nigga Keith in a dilapidated ass neighborhood where there's almost no lighting at 10 o'clock p.m. And you still think nothing's wrong.
Just as I was about to drive away, my phone buzzed. It was a weird number with a different area code. I answered, and I was greeted with a friendly and somewhat unnerving voice. His voice was deep and almost erratic. He called me fella and started apologizing about the phone business. He told me that he broke his phone a little while ago and he
Oh
was
yeah,
calling
one
me.
thing about AI is that it'll never give you English for some reason. Like look at the screen and look at the numbers and shit. For some reason, it'll just like give you gibberish for letters.
On his work phone. I was definitely a little weirded out, but not scared or uneasy. I was honestly more annoyed than anything. I realize hindsight is 2020, but at the time, when you're in these kinds of situations, your brain is just kind of working differently.
Man, shut the fuck up, nigga. Not my brain. Maybe
I
your
wasn't
brain.
thinking about the worst. I was
Nah,
thinking about that couch. He told me to meet him
because
around the
nothing will ever happen to you. That shit could never happen to you, nigga. And like, I just want you to. This nigga might be the stupidest out of all. Like the third stories for last. Like the last story's the good one, bro. This nigga might be the dumbest out of all these other niggas, bro. And that's saying a lot. This nigga's telling me that he's not thinking about the worst. He's not thinking about the worst outcome that could happen in terms of his own physical safety. He's worrying about a fucking couch.
back side of the residence, and he would unlock the back door for me.
You walked around to the back. Bro, this is rage bait, bro.
I didn't even question it for 1 second.
Yeah, because
I made
nothing's
my
ever
way to
gonna
the
happen
back
to you.
and couldn't believe that it was still so dark.
Why couldn't you believe that it was so dark? Because you don't think shit could ever happen to you, right?
This guy would turn on some kind of light for me. I got to the back door and just stood there for a moment. I didn't know if he just wanted me to walk inside or if he was coming outside to get me. I decided to call him again on what he said was
Coming
his
outside
work
to
cell.
ditch you.
Instead
sure.
of hearing the ring in my ear, I hear a generic ringtone coming from behind me. Not in the house, but from the bushes in the backyard.
Bro.
I hate to even say this, but this is the first time I finally felt some kind of
No,
feeling that
we can
something
tell.
might not be
We can
right.
tell it's the first time.
Keith ran out from the bushes, waving his ringing flip phone, and with
Okay, so let's recap. Actually, hold on.
that strange voice, he told me that he was getting rid of some old food and he was just coming out to greet me. He said that he didn't mean to alarm me. He claimed that he liked to feed the squirrels and whatever other animals lived in those bushes.
Feed the squirrels? What are we talking about? You like to feed the squirrels in bushes? Yo, doesn't it piss you off when somebody says like some really dumb shit and they expect you to believe it? Like, bro, like I triple backflipped off of a 15-story building and I landed on a moving car like it was a surfboard. Like, it's an insult to your intelligence. But then if you believe that shit, like, you might be as or even more stupid as they think you are. Like, bro, this nigga is feeding squirrels aren't even nocturnal. Have you ever seen squirrels in the middle of the fucking night? What are we talking about? I like to feed squirrels in the bushes. And so, like, just to recap, you have an individual who has you meeting him alone in a dilapidated as fucked up as no lighting as neighborhood. You're in the back of the house by yourself where there's also no lighting. And this nigga ran instead of like calling you. He has a new number. The old number is out of service. He has a new number. And this nigga, instead of meeting you like a normal fucking person, this nigga is running out of the bushes. And then he's talking about feeding squirrels and shit. Nigga, where's your couch? This couch cannot be worth it, bro. Like, what kind of couch is this?
I told him it was fine and that I just wanted to see the couch so I could be on my way.
Nigga, shut up.
In a cheerful voice, he said, "Of course." He skipped by me, almost stumbling as he passed me. We got to the back door, and it looked like he was struggling to open it. When he told me to meet him in the back, I just assumed that he was going to be opening it from the inside of the house. I didn't expect him to be trying to open the door from the outside. This was the first time I got a good look at Keith. At least as good a look as I could get in the limited light. He was older, but not old.
Nigga look like
I would
Terry
say
Silver.
maybe late 50s. He was really skinny and had long white hair that was pulled back in a nasty ponytail. Worst of all, he smelled like a dirty ashtray full of cigarette
I mean,
butts.
the nigga's name is Keith,
He pulled
bro.
away from the door a little bit and asked if I could help him get the door open. He said sometimes the door would stick, and he was embarrassed that he couldn't get it open. He told me to just use my shoulder and push the door as hard as I could.
And you're not, bro. This is a whole lot of bullshit to me. I don't know about you, but clearly you don't think the same.
At this point, I knew something was wrong, but I was already in the moment and was just kind of going
So now you know something's wrong, but you're still going along with it.
with the flow. I grabbed the doorknob and lowered my shoulder into the door. It didn't stick at all. In fact, as I lowered my shoulder to push it open, someone from the other side opened the door. I had so much momentum now that I lost my balance
Gotcha,
and fell to the
stupid ass.
floor. When I hit the ground, I heard Keith yell, "Now!" In the dark room, 2 other people emerged from each side and held me on the ground.
Pause.
I started to squirm.
Hey, TT. Did you ever think that this could happen to you?
Didn't matter. One of the guys holding me down was huge. Keith started to kick my face. One of the worst parts of all this was the sheer darkness of the situation. I couldn't see anything, and that made everything feel so much worse. I could feel my body starting to get weak from Keith kicking me. He told the other guy to grab the tape, and I heard the sound of tape ripping.
Grab the tape is insane.
I couldn't even imagine what they
Telling
planned
you,
on doing.
they're about to touch you, bro.
What happened next
Grab the
is
tape
probably
is
the
crazy.
closest thing to a miracle that has ever happened to me. During the struggle of me falling and being held down, I accidentally dialed my friend, the friend that I had been living with since the breakup. The sounds of him yelling hello were coming through the phone loud and clear. I decided to yell, "I'm in the back of the house, come and help me." Clearly a bluff. I was alone, but I wasn't sure if these guys knew that. I was hopefully trying to scare them into thinking I had someone else in the car with me. The big guy eased his grip and looked at Keith, who had stopped kicking for a brief second. That second was all I needed. I was able to free myself, and I ran out the door and back to my car. I could hear them chasing me, but I didn't look back. I shut the car door and locked it immediately before starting it. Just as I was peeling away, I saw the big guy clearly for the first time. He was bald and had one of those patchy beards. His eyes were the worst part. They were dark and looked lifeless. He was trying to open the door even as I was driving away. I just kept driving. I drove for hours before I went back to my friend's house. I was scared that somehow those guys were going to follow me, and I didn't want them to know where I was staying.
And now you're driving around for hours instead of simply going to the police station. If they were following you, are they going to follow you into the police station? But you're driving around aimlessly for hours. My nigga, this is like a life lesson from God. It was like to simulate, if you're going to be this fucking stupid, or you're going to live in my world, and if you're going to be this fucking dumb, this is the type of shit that is going to happen to you. Because at the end of the day, nothing ended up happening to you, right? Something almost happened to you, but you got away in the nick of time. So, I mean, yeah, this is literally like, you can take this experience and be like, hey, maybe I'm a little, and maybe I need to get my shit together, you know what I'm saying? But even after the fact,
I called my friend back and told him everything.
you still have your
I
phone?
eventually called the authorities, but it was too late.
No shit,
The post
it's
was
too
gone,
late.
and apparently, the cell phone was some sort of track phone, and Keith ditched it.
Did you not?
I gave them the
You
best
didn't.
description.
You didn't understand that when the nigga like you switched the phone the first time. You didn't get that he was using a burner.
And I could, but as far as I know, Keith and those 2 other guys are still out there in the world. What scares me every time I think about that night is when I think about their intention. This wasn't just a robbery. He lured me in with a $45 deal. Whatever these monsters wanted, it wasn't
Nigga,
just...
you was finna risk your life for a $45 couch, bro. I hate each and every one of these niggas who submitted their stories. Next time, just keep your shit to yourself, bro. I know that you have like uniquely scary stories. What scared me the most is knowing that there are people like this in the world. Like, I'm not even worried about like the evil people in the world that try to do some weird shit. What's scarier than that is understanding that there are people this stupid. Like, there's just no... Like, I can't even see where you're coming from. Any of you. You guys should be fucking embarrassed, my nigga. I get why the first bitch kept her name anonymous for the first story. And y'all niggas submitted the story with your names? Bro, if this were me in any of these stories, I wouldn't have the balls to put my name attached to any of these stories, bro. I would never attach my names to any of these stories. Nigga, bro, look at the first comment, bro. Not gonna lie, everyone in this video sounds like the type of person who would die first in a horror movie, and not even by the antagonist, but by their own choices. Yo, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and you got a good laugh out of this. Like, please don't be this stupid, okay? If something feels wrong, just listen to your gut or whatever the fuck. I mean, just like, I feel like if you've made it past 16, you have more situational awareness than, on average at least, than these three people who were, by all means, grown adults. Maybe not the 18-year-old, but the other two at least. Y'all have no excuse. This is fucking ridiculous. This shit made my brain hurt. Goodbye.